This is the thing recently with mainstream media and how they're treating audiences. Like, we should just consume no matter the quality of a show. And I don't know why that's a thing when it comes to Disney or Lucasfilm in particular, it seems. Why we've reached this state where mainstream media thinks it's okay to criticize us for not just blindly consuming, for actually having taste. Speaking of the mainstream media, that has just been unfairly criticizing fans and audiences for not liking a poorly made show. This was tweeted about from the Rolling Stone. They wrote an article. It's a commentary piece from the Rolling Stone titled, "Can the Best of Star Wars Survive the Worst of Its Fans?" And as we saw before with that Forbes article that was kind of addressing this is what Forbes was talking about, that there are these some media platforms that are criticizing people for not watching, but also those that did watch it criticizing like it's just a mockery of George Lucas and his IP. But apparently it's our fault it's being canceled, and nothing to do with the incredibly low viewership and incredibly high cost of the show. So the tweet continues, "Before Star Wars can have another successful show, some vocal parts of fandom have to reckon with what they really want out of the franchise." So I'm not going to read this article because I think it's behind a paywall. I don't take Rolling Stone seriously at all. I honestly think it's just tabloid journalism now. It used to be, I guess, back in the day, was like a music-focused publication. I don't know why they're commenting on Star Wars and other subjects that they do, and they're kind of a tabloid now. So I don't take them seriously, but this is crazy that a platform and a media entertainment platform like this feels the need to criticize audiences just for not watching something. And I point this out because the Rolling Stone also did a review of The Acolyte, and their own reviewer gave a bad review of the show. This is the article. They actually jumped the gun a bit when they released their review. They did it too soon. That was going around, that this bad review came out, but then they immediately took it down because it was too soon. "The Acolyte, this Star Wars prequel series, isn't a force to be reckoned with. Even a veteran Jedi Master would lose patience with the latest Disney Plus addition to the canon, which focuses on a pair of twins, revenge, and snore." This is a Rolling Stone review. So they can criticize the show for being poorly written, but we can't. We can't. We're just supposed to consume. No matter the quality, we need to give Disney our money. And I'm sorry, that really just bothered me when I saw that. Like, you gave it a poor review. Yeah, it's behind a paywall, so I can't see the rest of it. I think it's like archived somewhere, but yeah, I read it before. They are saying the same things that most people were saying. There's just a lot of unsatisfying storylines, change in character motivations, poorly written, poorly acted. And I think this was after they saw the first 4 episodes that they wrote this review from. And there were a lot of reviews that said that episode 4 with the lightsaber battles. So even with that, there's problems with it. And I bring it up because this has to change. If there is ever a way forward for Lucasfilm to repair its broken relationship with its fans, they have to get a lid on this. Because I don't know what the Rolling Stone thinks it's doing here. Why is it my problem that your show sucked? It's not my fault that no one watched it. YouTubers don't have that power. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. No one was interested in watching it. If they did tune in, they stopped watching it because it was boring. It was very poorly paced and just not interesting. And again, like, if you only have 8 episodes, 30 minutes average at least, you have to get people's attention. If you're having $180 million, should definitely be enough to suffice to make a entertaining sci-fi show. And you have the Star Wars IP, you have the kind of that connection, and you're gonna have that audience tune in. But you've also had this pattern of decline in quality when it comes to storytelling. That is a well-known thing, and it's well known that Andor is what's kind of like the best written of all these shows. And there's just been this pattern of decline in quality, and this is what it's led to. Why is it audiences' responsibility to just watch it and pay for poor quality storytelling? Poorly made, poorly conceived, poorly executed. None of the storylines make sense. There's so many questions that you don't know why anyone does what they do, because they didn't bother to do any character work or think about anyone's motivations. That's why people want a season 2, because they don't know what's going on. They don't know who the creepy dude in the cave is. They never even say that that's Plagueis in the actual show. I'm sorry, it's not canon if they don't say it. So we kind of dodged a bullet when it came to Plagueis, actually, at the end of the day, because he wasn't in the story. We were never introduced to him. We don't know who he is, what he wants, what he's doing there with Camille, what that connection is. He was just literally a cameo. Creepy dude in a cave. So if you don't say Plagueis, it's not Plagueis. The EU can't save you from that. I'm not going to credit you with introducing Plagueis if you don't introduce him as such. No one would know that that's him. Normies don't know that that's Plagueis. They didn't know that because it's not canon, as everyone likes to remind us that the Legends isn't canon. So we're not going to use that to introduce your character. That's your job. Especially since we're a paying audience, it better be good or we're going to let you know. And shows get canceled all the time. Like, what makes you so special? And even good shows get canceled unfairly or not renewed. So Star Trek Legacy, which is going to be a continuation of Picard Season 3, which, by the way, was done on half of the budget of The Acolyte and looks way better. And it was done, I can't remember the episode count, maybe 10, with about 45-minute average episode length. It was a great show. And it wrapped up all of the main storylines and the legacy characters in a satisfactory way. And at the very end, teased something that could be the start and the setting for future stories, but you weren't left unsatisfied because they wrapped up the essential stories. But because they did tease what could be in another show, another Star Trek show, fans wanted more, and they started a petition for Terry Matalas's Star Trek Legacy. That's kind of the name that they were going to give it, with a show centered around Jack Crusher and the Enterprise, a new Enterprise show. And I think that petition, it's got a lot of signatures. Petitions, no one looks at those, no one cares, because at the end of the day, this is a business. And even in the best of circumstances, so Picard Season 3 was on the official Nielsen Top 10 ratings, and it was the first Star Trek show of the new Star Trek shows and streaming to do that. So it was the most successful show in viewership and also critics ratings, with both critics and audiences. It won like several awards too, Picard Season 3. So even in the best of circumstances, studios drag their heels. We still haven't gotten any official word. There's been like some hopeful little comments. Hopefully we'll get it. But again, like even in the best of circumstances, sometimes studios don't make the right decision, or it just is unfair. Firefly should get more. Stargate SGU, Stargate Atlantis should have gotten more. There's just, it's unfair. But this is not one of those cases. This isn't a case of a good show being unfairly canceled or not renewed. No one watched it, and it's a bad show in every possible way. There's some parts that you can enjoy, I guess, in some performances in isolation. But as a whole, it is a bad show that no one watched. And this isn't one of those cases of being unfair.